Hello Husker fans, Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra. This is our Stock Up report for the Nebraska defense. We're going to go through the positions next week and we'll kind of hit all of those. But for now, we want to hit on some of the individual players that we feel like had really good spring practices. And so stocking up on the defensive line, no question about it, it's those two freshmen, Cam Lenhardt and Princewell Umanyalan. They had really, really good camps. And that was obvious in the spring game when they made play after play. Cam Lenhardt got around Turner Corcoran 2 different times like he was a fourth-year guy at Ohio State. And Princewell Umanyalan's got great pursuit ability. He's just sort of relentless and aggressive in the way that he goes after the ball. So I was really impressed with Umanyalan, really impressed with Lenhardt. Thought both those guys did a really nice job. Their stocks have gone way up. They're probably going to play next year, and you don't often see freshman defensive linemen playing right away, but I think that's my expectation. Stock up for another defensive lineman, Nash Hutmacher. He's obviously reshaped his body. I think he probably weighs about what he weighed before, but they're trying to get him to a place where he can make plays down the line of scrimmage and not just be an immovable rock in the middle of the line of scrimmage. It's great to be an immovable rock, but sometimes you got to move. And I think they're getting that rock rolling down the hill either way. And so I think Nash Hutmacher also has a stock up. Stock up also for MJ Sherman, the linebacker transfer from Georgia. Really like him as a player. Thought he did a nice job in the spring game of coming through and just making some explosive plays. Yes, that can happen on defense. And I loved his interviews with the media. It sounds like he really wants to be a leader. I think that's a commitment level thing for him. And so I think he's one of those guys that has been added to the program who's really going to press to care and be one of the vocal leaders of the program. We didn't necessarily see that from some of the transfers last season. Some of those guys kind of laid back. I think MJ Sherman is going to definitely press forward. Stock up for John Bullock as well. Obviously, the Creighton Prep graduate was a safety. Then he moved down to linebacker. I think he impressed coaches with his athleticism off the field and then on the field. And I think he's somebody who will get playing time definitely next season. I don't know if he's going to be a starter, but Matt Rule says he's got starter capability, and that says something for him. I think that's a guy that they're going to be able to move around. Every time a new coaching staff comes in, almost always, there's a walk-on that benefits greatly from that addition. In this case, it looks like it's going to be John Bullock, so stock up for him. Definitely a stock up, no question, for Omar Brown in the secondary. It looks like he's going to find a spot back there, maybe as a safety, maybe as a rover, but Omar Brown, who I thought was going to be their second best transfer in the 2022 class. I thought it was going to be Casey Thompson, then Omar Brown. Well, I was wrong. Trey Palmer was their best transfer. And then Casey, I think, was maybe their second best. I thought Omar Brown was going to be a star based on what he did at Northern Iowa. And the reality is that just didn't happen last year. It didn't quite fit the scheme, or things didn't quite go right. But this time, I think it's really going well. And I think there's a really good chance that Omar's going to play quite a bit for Nebraska. And so that's a name to watch going forward. And then another big stock up for Corey Collier, the Florida safety transfer. Now, we talked most of the winter and spring about his teammate, Chief Borders. And I think Chief Borders had a good camp. I don't know that he had a good camp as Princewell Umanyalan and MJ Sherman and a few others, but Corey Collier had a good camp. This is a rangy, still a little slight, but a rangy guy who can play that safety role, come down into the box. There's a number of things he can do. I think Nebraska's coaches, particularly secondary coach Evan Cooper, like what he brings to the table as a defensive player, and I think his stock has gone up. All right, Husker fans, those are the players whose stock went up during spring camp. For us, we will be back next week with position reviews and position reviews from spring and previews for the summer. Thanks, Husker fans. I'm Sam McKewon with the World-Herald and Husker Extra.